So what even are these? Well, in simple terms, they're a pair of glasses that have a screen in them. Now, obviously, they are a lot more than that, but they are not meant to compete against something like the Meta Quest 3 or the Apple Vision Pro. They stand alone as their own sort of product. They're designed to extend the display of your current devices and give you the equivalent of a 152-inch screen in a pair of glasses. When it comes to the design, they come in a very lovely carrying case that protects the glasses and has a compartment for the cable. The cable is needed to connect the glasses to anything, so on one end it's magnetic and attaches to the end of the right stem of the glasses, and on the other end it's USB-C. The glasses themselves look very much like any other sunglasses, but just chunkier. From afar you would not be able to tell that they have screens in them, but let's not pretend that up close they definitely do look a bit different from your regular sunglasses. However, because of this form factor, I think if you were to use them in public, maybe on a flight or on a train, they're definitely not going to stick out as much as a proper bulky VR headset. On the left stem, there is a button and a volume rocker. On the right stem, there is just one button. These buttons let you change things like the volume, the brightness, the color mode, the tint, and some other stuff. As you can see, it has a translucent style casing, which I think looks awesome. Just makes them look very futuristic and very modern. Honestly though, I'm just impressed that Vicha were able to take what is a sort of normal form factor of sunglasses and turn them into something that gives you two screens at 152 inches. Like, that is just wild to me. When it comes to the specs, there is a micro OLED screen in each eye. The resolution is 1920 by 1200, so you are getting a sort of 16 by 10 aspect ratio. It goes up to 1000 nits and is capable of doing 120 hertz. They're not 4K resolution though. So, can you see the pixels? Well, it depends really. It depends what you're using it for. If you're using it to extend the display of your PC or your Mac and you have text documents and stuff and UI elements, then yeah, it's not going to look as sharp as like a sort of retina display. However, when you're watching movies, when you're playing games, watching content, just stuff like that, honestly, it is completely fine. I found the resolution to be more than adequate. I don't think most people are going to have any complaints. The also very impressive thing about these is that they only weigh 80 grams. 80 grams for a device like this is absurd. Like, that is ridiculously light, much lighter than a sort of normal VR headset. I can wear it for hours without any fatigue. It's just very comfortable. To give you an idea of the size, here it is compared to a Meta Quest 3 and a regular pair of glasses. Now granted, the Meta Quest 3 is a very different device compared to the Luma Pro. They just do completely different things, but I did just want to illustrate the size difference, how much smaller they are. There's a ton of adjustability to get the glasses tailored to your face and comfortable for you. There's dials on the top for myopia adjustment. The nose pads are interchangeable and can be done very quickly due to the neat magnetic design that Vicha have implemented here. And finally, the stems themselves actually have some movement so you can get the screen angle just right. There are built-in speakers and boy do they sound incredible. Now, they're not going to be as good as a dedicated pair of headphones, that's just a given, but when I'm playing games and stuff or watching YouTube videos, yeah, the speakers in it are more than good enough. And because they're sort of just sitting above your ear, you can still hear everything that's going on around you. So that's the benefit of having speakers like this in a headset like this. Because it's USB-C, I plugged it into anything and everything and was pleasantly surprised at how easily it just works with nearly everything. My Mac, my iPad, my iPhone, my Steam Deck, they all work right out of the box. I don't need any special software. However, with a Nintendo Switch 2, it's not so easy because Nintendo being Nintendo, they haven't allowed you just to connect any sort of USB-C device, any sort of dock, and it just works. You have to actually fool the device into going into docked mode and then it'll work. So Vicha do have this device here, which is the Vicha Pro Mobile Dock, and as the name suggests, it actually fools your Nintendo Switch 2 into going into docked mode, and then you can connect the headset to this dock and it will work. This has a battery bank in it, so you can also charge the Nintendo Switch 2. You don't have to just use it with the Nintendo Switch 2. This is actually a multi-purpose device. It has a HDMI port, so this is where you can connect things like, if you really wanted to, an Apple TV, a Google Chromecast, a PS5, an Xbox. Pretty much anything that supports HDMI will work on here, which is just wild because that gives you so much more sort of capability, so much more options to connect stuff. You have 2 ports on it for glasses, so you can actually technically connect 2 pairs of glasses and have 2 pairs of glasses going to the same device. So if you wanted to do split screen on something like Nintendo Switch 2, you can do that. This is actually an awesome little device, and I would recommend it if you are planning to connect things like PS5 or Nintendo Switch 2. Vicha also have a piece of software called Spacewalker. It essentially gives you more screens for your Mac, so you can move your head left or right or up and down and see the screens, giving you a ton of screen estate. It's difficult for me to show you on video, but I'll try and demonstrate the best that I can. It pretty much just allows you to extend your workspace, giving you what is a multi-display setup. So what's it actually like using these glasses? So the first thing that impressed me was the brightness. Because it goes up to 1000 nits, I actually found it too bright sometimes when I connected it to something like my Mac, where there's a lot of sort of white space, white screens and stuff. I found myself actually lowering the brightness between 50 to 80%. However, it's really nice to have that leeway, knowing that it can get that bright, because when I was watching movies like Casino Royale and stuff like that, movies that are quite dark, you need to up the brightness. So having the brightness go up to 100% can really make a difference in those sorts of scenarios. Because it's trying to simulate a 152-inch screen at around 3 meters away, it definitely does feel like it. It doesn't envelop your vision like a VR headset does. When you do have them on, it really does feel like you're looking at a massive screen 3 meters away. Watching movies on it, as expected, looks fantastic. It feels like you're sat in your own home cinema. But for me, playing games on it is where I find myself using it most. I connected it to my Steam Deck, and it made me realize how useful and powerful these glasses are when it comes to a portable sort of gaming device. Because I don't need to hold up the device to my face, I can have it resting on my lap like any other controller. This reduces a ton of fatigue from holding up the device. These can literally replace a TV. Instead of connecting my Steam Deck Switch 2 or even a PS5 to a TV, which someone else might want to use, I can connect it to this instead. And of course, there's a huge benefit to it being portable. You can stick it in this case, put it in your backpack, and it's ready to go. You can't carry around a 152-inch screen. That's physically impossible. It doesn't really make any sense. But considering you can get pretty much the same experience in something like this, as small as this, it's pretty wild. So what is this even useful for? Well, with it being multi-purpose, I think it really depends on what you think you're going to use it for, because you can use it both for a productivity setup. Maybe you're connecting your Mac or PC and you want to extend the displays, you want a larger sort of space to work in. I can see that being ideal for someone who travels, where they want all the screen estate. Maybe they're going to hotels and stuff here and there, traveling, whatever, and they need all the screen estate. Something like this is definitely a viable option. But then at the same time, you can use it to watch content and play games. Like, to me, that also makes it really sort of compelling for me, because when I'm on the go, I'm usually either taking my Nintendo Switch 2 or my Steam Deck, and knowing that I can connect something like this and play on a massive screen and have a great experience with it on like a flight or something just makes it so much fun. Another feature which I nearly forgot to mention was the 2D to 3D functionality. Now, that sounds a bit like a gimmick, like, you know, how can you turn 2D videos or 2D pictures or whatever into 3D? But when I tried it on and I tried using it, wow, it actually genuinely impressed me how amazing of a job it does turning standard content into 3D content. I'm not sure exactly what sorcery they're using here, but what really impressed me the most is when I'm watching standard movies, normal movies, and it can make them look 3D. And it seems like I'm not the only one. There's a few Reddit threads actually saying, some people saying that it's the best you can get right now. And it's also got people interested in watching stuff that's not originally 3D. It's obviously impossible for me to demonstrate it on a video because you're most likely not watching this on a screen that can produce 3D. It's one of those things where you've really got to see it to believe it. And the great thing is that it's super easy to set up. It works on Mac, Windows, and even the iPhone. And you can even take it a step further. If you use it on a Windows machine, you can make your games look 3D as well. Just a crazy experience. When it comes to pricing, Vicha are actually launching 4 new pairs of glasses, including this one, the Luma Pro. The Luma Pro is the one that you can currently buy and is available to ship. The others are launching over the next few months. Pricing ranges depending on the model. The Luma Pro model, which is the one I have here, is up for $499. Whether you think that's good value or not, totally comes down to you, I think. I think it comes down to what you're going to use it for and how much you're going to use it. I could see this being perfect for those who don't have space for another TV in their home, or maybe they don't have space for multiple monitors. Maybe they want a private viewing experience, or maybe their partner is hogging the TV. We don't have to worry about that anymore. It's perfect for traveling, giving you a high quality OLED display on the go. And of course, it can be used for productivity use cases if you connect it to a Mac or a PC. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. You can use the code OLIA to get 10% off everything at Veecha. Make sure to check it out. I'll leave a link to it down in the description below. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter and subscribe for more.